So the politics of the election and how the candidates are communicating these days is really very interesting. So you have a couple of really skillful communicators. Donald Trump is probably one of the best messengers there is. You know, people have criticized Trump for speaking at a sixth grade level, but let's face it, the majority of Americans in today's electorate, they don't want to hear a lot of fancy talk. They want to hear the bottom line. And Donald Trump, for better or worse, whether you like him or not, he gives people the bottom line. Ben Carson, you know, soft-spoken man who is a surgeon, not a politician in any way. He's accustomed to, he can certainly has the brain power to talk in terms that most people could never understand, and yet you find him speaking in very simple, declarative statements, tones that resonate with people. When you get into too much complexity, too much policy mumbo-jumbo, too much explanations of this and that, that's when you begin to lose voters. I mean, let's face it, the American electorate, for all of their power, for all of their, for all the rights and responsibilities that they have, the American electorate is pretty simple. They want to know, tell us what you're going to do, tell us how you're going to do it, and tell us why we should believe you. And those are sort of three elements that I always look to when I'm assessing the effectiveness of a political campaign and whether this is going to be ultimately successful in connecting with American voters and connecting with the ultimately with the media. You know, the media, the professional media, I should say, can be very, very discerning and exacting, and they look at these candidates in ways that, frankly, the American electorate do not judge them. So if you're being judged by the media, the professional writers and the journalists, and they're giving you bad marks, it may mean that you're doing okay with the electorate. And look at, you know, again, look at what Donald Trump and Ben Carson have been able to do on the Republican side. And I would hope that in the Democratic, and Bernie Sanders has actually tapped into that as well. He's got some highfalutin ideas and some pretty interesting political ideology, but the fact of the matter, he's able to communicate in a way that is simple, declarative, straightforward sentences to people, and Americans respond to those things. And that's actually, ultimately, that's all you really can ask for from a candidate in this whole process. And so, you know, let me just say, you know, I'm always glad to talk to students about these issues, and the fact of the matter is that oftentimes we neglect to look at the signs, to read the signs that are there coming from the candidates themselves.